ganar un torneo de Copa Colchanitas es un gran desafío, pero retener el título, defenderlo, eso todo. ¿Cómo está la preparación y cómo se siente para esta aventura que arranca ya?
Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. At sana patuloy
So I'm
yung support.
so looking forward to play against Alex because we played in Osaka.
For United States, especially the juniors, I think it's a great opportunity to be exposed.
Untouchable Alex steps into the storm, and suddenly the noise fades, silencing pop sensation Sarah Geronimo after a shocking Rich Kid attack that nobody saw coming. And just when you think the story has peaked, she turns around and destroys her rival in what feels like the ultimate revenge performance, the kind that lingers long after the lights go out. Welcome back to Champions Tennisics, the one place where we don't just talk tennis, we peel back the layers, exposing the truth behind the headlines, the drama behind the baseline, and the human stories that turn this beautiful sport into something far bigger than a scoreboard. And before we dive headfirst into what might be the most jaw-dropping, career-defining moment in Philippine tennis history, pause for a heartbeat, because something incredible just happened. We didn't just grow, we smashed straight through the 4,000 subscriber barrier. 4,000 passionate tennis fanatics chose to stand with us, to believe in this journey, and honestly, this is only the opening chapter. You are the energy, the spark, the fuel keeping this channel firing on all cylinders when it matters most, and we couldn't be more grateful even if we tried. If you're new here, welcome to the squad, because from here on out, the story only gets louder, bolder, and unforgettable. Grab your popcorn and lean back, because this isn't just a story. It's a full-blown roller coaster packed with celebrity drama, hard-earned redemption, raw controversy, and some of the most electrifying tennis you'll witness all year. And trust me, once it starts, there's no jumping off. Now, let's dive straight into the chaos, because this week the worlds of entertainment and sports didn't just collide. They crashed into each other in the most spectacular, messy, and unforgettable way imaginable. At the center of it all is an alleged confrontation between Philippine tennis superstar Alex Eala and pop icon Sarah Geronimo. A showdown so explosive it sent the entire nation scrambling to pick sides while the internet erupted with nonstop opinions. Picture a VIP room tucked somewhere in Manila, tension hanging thick in the air, celebrities exchanging polite smiles, small talk floating around in a familiar glamorous haze, until suddenly everything changes. Out of nowhere, a voice slices through the chatter like a blade, and according to reports and eyewitness accounts spreading like wildfire, that voice belonged to Sarah Geronimo, and what she allegedly said lit a firestorm that refuses to die down. The accusation was brutal, claiming Alex Eala, the pride of Philippine tennis, the young woman who carried the red, white, blue, and yellow onto the world's biggest stages, only found success because mommy and daddy paid the way. Just like that, every drop of sweat, every tear on foreign clay courts, every lonely night spent oceans away from home was dismissed, her journey reduced to privilege and money. And then it went further. Reports suggest Sarah questioned Alex's loyalty to the Philippines itself, implying she abandoned her homeland to chase fame and fortune in the United States and Europe. The message painfully clear: you're not one of us, you're a sellout, a rich kid playing a rich kid's game. Pause and let that sink in, because Alex Eala has carried the weight of a nation's tennis dreams on her shoulders since childhood, leaving her family at a young age to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, long before the spotlight ever found her. She survived the brutal grind of the junior circuit, pushing through crushing homesickness, unfamiliar languages, and opponents who wanted nothing more than to end her dreams before they ever began. And somehow she kept going. She captured the U.S. Open Girls Doubles title in 2021, then came back stronger to win the French Open Girls Singles Championship in 2022, making history as the first Filipino to ever do it. She earned a bronze medal at the Asian Games, placing the Philippines on the global tennis map in a way no one had seen before, and in 2024 she broke into the WTA top 100, then climbed relentlessly into the top 50, proving beyond doubt that she belongs among the world's elite. And someone had the nerve to call that privilege. Money can buy a good racket, it can buy court time, it can buy flights to tournaments, but money cannot buy heart. Money cannot buy the courage to stare down match point and still find a way to win. Money cannot buy the mental toughness it takes to lose early, board another plane, land in a new country, and start all over again the very next week. That strength is earned, forged in competition, paid for with sacrifices most people will never understand. So when Alex Eala heard those words, when her entire life's work was reduced to a bank balance, something inside her snapped. And honestly, who wouldn't? For years we've known her as the sweet, humble, soft-spoken champion, giving gracious interviews, thanking her family, her coaches, her supporters with genuine warmth. But even the most patient soul has a breaking point, and this was hers. Witnesses say Alex fired back with a fury that stunned the room, the exact words still debated, but the message unmistakable. How dare you diminish my work? How dare you question my love for my country? The confrontation was raw, emotional, unfiltered, the moment the polite facade shattered, and a young woman stood up for her honor, her career, her identity. The room reportedly fell silent, eyes darting away, because this wasn't just celebrity drama. It was personal, it was deep, touching wounds far beyond tennis courts and concert stages. It spoke to the toxic criticism Filipino athletes abroad constantly face, the impossible demand to win globally without ever leaving home, jealousy disguised as patriotism, and voices of people who have never competed at the highest level judging those who have. And instantly, social media exploded. Team Alex versus Team Sarah. Hashtags surging, think pieces flooding timelines because suddenly everyone had an opinion. Some rushed to defend Sarah, arguing she was simply voicing uncomfortable truths about inequality in sports, while others stood firmly behind Alex, insisting her success deserved celebration, not suspicion, and the argument exploded, raging nonstop and still echoing today. But this is where the story takes a breathtaking turn, because while Twitter threads burned, Facebook comments spiraled, tabloids pumped out clickbait, and gossip columns feasted, Alex Eala did what real champions always do. She absorbed every ounce of rage, every sting of hurt, every flash of frustration, and carried it to the one place that truly matters, the tennis court. And the timing couldn't have been more perfect or more suffocating. This very week marked the inaugural Philippine Women's Open, the first ever WTA tournament held on Philippine soil, a moment that was historic and groundbreaking all at once. For years, Filipino fans watched their heroes compete on distant courts at brutal hours. But now, at last, world-class professional tennis was coming home, and Alex Eala was its unmistakable face. The pressure was already enormous before the drama even began, because playing at home is always a double-edged sword. You feel the roar of thousands who want you to win, but you also carry their expectations, their hope, their dreams, knowing one bad match doesn't just hurt you, it hurts a nation. Now layer on the emotional fallout of a very public clash with one of the country's biggest celebrities, and most athletes would collapse. Alex is not most athletes. She arrived at the Rizal Memorial Sports Complex with fire in her eyes and something to prove. She had already faced criticism earlier in the season after an early Australian Open exit, whispers creeping in again. Maybe she's not ready. Maybe last year was a fluke. Maybe the pressure is too much. The doubters circled, freshly armed by the Sarah Geronimo incident. But champions don't hide, they respond. And respond she did, delivering opening matches that were calm, ruthless, and professional, sending a clear message that she was here for more than noise. But it was the round of 16 that finally exposed what had been quietly building inside Alex, because her opponent was Himeno Saketsum of Japan, a name that carries weight for a very specific reason. 3 years ago, They crossed paths at a WTA 250 event in Osaka. And for Alex, that match was pure misery. Saketsum didn't just beat her. She overwhelmed her, steamrolled her, leaving behind a brutal scoreline of 6-love, 6-3, the kind of loss that lingers, that follows you into sleepless nights where points replay over and over in your mind. Because in tennis, the real battle is always me versus me. Yes, there's an opponent across the net. Yes, thousands are watching, critics judging, supporters cheering, but at its core, tennis is a war within, managing emotion, controlling thought, trusting the plan, refusing to let pressure win. Alex understands that truth deeply, and it's why her future is so bright. Still, there's no time to celebrate, because the road ahead only gets harder. Alex has punched her ticket to the quarterfinals, and on Thursday night she faces her toughest test yet, Camila Osorio of Colombia, and this will be a war. Osorio is dangerous, 23 years old, top 100, fueled by fire and intensity that has already won over Filipino fans. She's fast, aggressive, relentless, forcing one extra shot, then another, pushing fitness, patience, and mental strength to the edge. What makes it even more compelling is they've never played before. No history, no patterns, no comfort, just raw adaptation. Chess at 100 miles per hour. Whoever adjusts first, stays calm longer, solves the puzzle quicker, moves on to the semifinals. The match is set for 7 in the evening on center court, with an atmosphere guaranteed to be electric. Thousands of Filipino fans, roaring, pouring every ounce of belief into Alex. The noise will be thunderous, the pressure crushing, but pressure creates diamonds. And Alex Eala was forged in international fire. One win puts her one match from the final, one match from possibly lifting the first ever Philippine WTA trophy at home. Poetic justice in its purest form, proving she never abandoned the Philippines, she elevated it. That would be the ultimate response to Sarah Geronimo, the kind that doesn't need shouting or explanations, the kind that silences critics one by one and seals a legacy not just as a gifted athlete, but as a national hero. Alex is ready for this moment, and you can hear it in her own words when she says she's carrying the same motivation and focus from the last 2 matches, admitting she hasn't even had time to fully prepare because the turnaround was so fast, yet still sounding excited, motivated, locked in. That's exactly the mindset you want to hear. No arrogance, no looking past the opponent, just calm, grounded determination. She knows what's on the line. She understands this could be the biggest match of her young career, and instead of shrinking from it, she's leaning in. This entire saga has peeled back another layer of Alex Eala. We always knew the talent was there. We always saw the dedication. But this week showed us something more, that she's tough, resilient, willing to stand up for herself when challenged, and capable of turning negativity into pure fuel. Those are the intangibles that separate good players from great ones, promising careers from legendary ones. Think about the icons of the sport. Think about Serena Williams facing racism and sexism and answering with 23 Grand Slam titles. Think about Rafael Nadal being told his game was too physical, that he wouldn't last, only to grind his way to 22 majors. Think about Novak Djokovic being dismissed as just another talent who would never catch Federer and Nadal, then surpassing them both. What do they all share? They fed on doubt. They transformed criticism into energy. They let their rackets do the talking. That is exactly what Alex Eala is doing right now. She isn't trading insults with Sarah Geronimo. She isn't posting angry messages online. She isn't holding press conferences to defend herself. She's choosing the loudest answer of all, letting her tennis speak. And right now, her tennis isn't whispering, it's screaming at the top of its lungs. Camila Osorio is a serious opponent, no doubt about it. She's experienced, confident, playing inspired tennis, but she isn't carrying the weight of an entire nation on her back. She isn't navigating the emotional fallout of a very public clash with a celebrity. She isn't bearing the pressure of being the face of a historic tournament unfolding in her own backyard. Alex is carrying all of that, and then some, and if she can harness it, if she can turn that pressure into power instead of letting it drag her down, she becomes something terrifying to face. The tactical chess match will be fascinating. Osorio loves to control points from the baseline, using her speed to chase everything down, stretching rallies until opponents crack. She thrives in long, grinding exchanges where patience and conditioning rule. Alex is different. She's at her most dangerous when she's bold, stepping inside the court, taking the ball early, pulling the trigger on winners. For Alex, the mission is clear. Shorten the points. Refuse to get dragged into marathon rallies where Osorio's endurance shines. She has to seize control early, dictate the tempo, and never loosen her grip. Mentally, the edge tilts toward Alex. She's playing at home, wrapped in the energy of a crowd that believes in her. She's coming off a statement win that erased old ghosts. Her confidence should be soaring, but there's a balance she must protect. The anger from the Sarah Geronimo incident lit a fire in her last match, but fire can warm you or burn you. If she lets it fuel her, she rises. If she lets it consume her, it could all unravel. She has to find that razor-thin balance between passion and composure, between burning fire and cool control. And one thing is absolutely certain, this match is must-see television. The drama, the stakes, the quality of tennis all collide into a moment that could define Alex's career forever. If she wins, she's into the semifinals of her home tournament, one step closer to sporting immortality. If she loses, the critics will swarm, the doubters will declare she cracked under pressure, and the narrative will flip in an instant. But we're not betting against Alex Eala, not after what we've witnessed this week, not after she's proven she's more than just a gifted tennis player. She's a fighter. She's a warrior. She's someone who refuses to let anyone else define her worth or rewrite her journey. The confrontation with Sarah Geronimo, whether perfectly accurate or amplified by tabloids chasing clicks, clearly struck a nerve. It peeled back the calm exterior and exposed the raw emotion underneath. It reminded us she's human, that words can hurt, that even champions feel the weight of judgment. But it also showed us something more powerful, that she knows how to respond, not with louder words, not with endless drama, but with action, results, and excellence when it matters most. This story goes far beyond tennis. It's about class and elitism, nationalism and globalization, dreams chased and sacrifices paid. It's about a young woman bold enough to chase greatness and brave enough to live with the consequences, both uplifting and painful. It's about the impossible standards we place on athletes, demanding they be superhuman on the court and flawless off it. And now, as Thursday's quarterfinal draws closer, the tension is rising, the nation is watching, and the tennis world is locked in. And now, Alexa is standing at the edge of the next chapter in her incredible story. Will it end in a fairy tale triumph, lifting a trophy on home soil, or will the pressure finally push her to the brink? We're about to find out. But one thing is undeniable already: Alex Eala belongs. She's shown she can handle the weight of expectation. She's proven she can silence critics with nothing but her racket. She's proven that the little girl who left the Philippines years ago is coming back, not just as a player, but as a champion. And the journey isn't over. It feels like it's just beginning. What a beginning it's been. From the drama erupting in a VIP room to triumph on the court, from accusations of privilege to handing out a bagel in poetic revenge. This week has been one of the most riveting in Philippine sports history. So, champions, we want to hear from you. Was Alex right to confront Sarah Geronimo? Should athletes training abroad face criticism for leaving home? And most importantly, can Alex beat Camila Osorio and continue her magical run at the Philippine Women's Open? Share your thoughts, predictions, and hot takes in the comments. This community thrives on passionate tennis discussion, and your voice matters. If you loved this deep dive into one of the year's most dramatic stories, smash that like button. It helps more tennis fans see this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. We're chasing 5,000 subscribers, and every one of you is part of this journey. At Champions Tennis, we don't just report scores, we tell the stories, uncover the context, and break down every match, upset, and unforgettable moment. Until next time, keep your eye on the ball, never let anyone question your hard-earned success. And remember, champions aren't born, they're forged in the fires of adversity. Alex is showing us exactly how it's done. This is Champions Tennis, and we'll see you in the next one.
Ganar un torneo de Copa Colchanitas es un gran desafío, pero retener el título, defenderlo, eso es todo. ¿Cómo está la preparación y cómo se siente para esta aventura que arranca ya muy pronto acá?
Excited about the games? Oh, excited naman, syempre. Ang haba ng biyahe mulang Spain, but I'm so excited to be here. Excited na
Well, I'm so looking forward to play against Alex because we played in Osaka before, like two.
Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala Abu Dhabi